What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is a video that I've been dying to make for quite some time, but I wasn't sure if the time was right. Uh, we've had a lot of tournaments going on in football. We had the Club World Cup, we had the Nations League before then, so I just wasn't sure if the time was right for me to put something like this out. I wanted to let the dominoes fall a little bit more before I started talking about it. Anyone who follows football, world football, you know that the transfer news is all over the place. You get news from Fabrizio, you get news from all these different sources, these rumors, and you just really don't know what to believe until something actually happens. As you guys know, Chelsea just put belt to PSG in the Club World Cup final, so now it's officially the off season and time for the transfer window talk to really start ramping up before the new season rolls around in about a month or so. So anybody who knows me in real life, you know I'm a massive Barcelona fan, always have been, always will be. And to be honest with you, we can't go one transfer window as Barcelona fans without some drama. And this transfer window is no different. By the time I actually upload this video, we could get some new news. That's the thing. That's the weird thing about these summer transfer windows, especially with a team like Barcelona that seems to be involved with so many different players. But as of right now, no moves have been made. The only move that's been made so far this transfer window, as far as bringing players in, was Joan Garcia from Espanyol and Rooney Bargaji. Forgive me if I butcher this guy's name. He's brand new to the team, but he's a right winger from Copenhagen, young guy, a lot of promise, has some injury history. And, to be honest with you, I don't want to bore people to death with the Nico Williams stuff. If you're watching this video, the odds are you already know the most that you can about the Nico Williams situation dating back to last summer. But I'm going to talk a little bit about what he offers as a player to give some insight into what I think Barcelona is looking for in the transfer window. So, to be perfectly honest with you, at the end of the season, I wasn't exactly sure what the plan was for Barcelona's transfers for the summer. You know, some people are looking for a new number 9 to replace Lewandowski. I personally, after seeing this past season, after seeing the new style of play that Barcelona has adopted under Hansi Flick, I think Lewandowski has another season, maybe two, to really be a top-tier goal scorer. This team just creates so many chances. The offense is so dynamic. I'm not really worried about him, even though for the guys that have watched every single game across the season, you do see Lewandowski miss some sitters that, maybe in past seasons he's putting those away. But the reality of the situation is this guy had his best season in a Barcelona shirt by far this past season. And, he's physically in tremendous shape. He's very fit, and I think he can still get the job done. And if not, we have Ferran Torres, we have Dani Olmo, who can play a false 9. We have Fermin Lopez, who can produce, goals and assists from that position if need be. I'm not so much worried about adding some massive star to the squad. I don't think that's what Barcelona needs right now. If you watch the way that they were eliminated from the Champions League against Inter Milan, I don't want to make excuses, but the reality of the situation is they didn't have Alejandro Valde, they didn't have Jules Koundé, who are two of the most important players to the success of this Barcelona team. No questions asked, no doubt about it. I think the most important thing for the squad right now is depth, especially in defense. In case those guys go down, you have somebody that can fill their shoes seamlessly, who can still produce offensively and defensively, and you don't really feel their absence. But it seems to me that we just can't escape these rumors of Luis Diaz to Barca, of at one point Nico Williams to Barca. It seems that they're looking for somebody for the left wing. Deco and Laporta have said that they're looking to take the workload off of the shoulders of guys like Lamine, off guys like Rafinha, who, played a lot of games last season and were tremendous. But, of course, injuries happen. These guys get overworked. And, you just want that squad depth for the attack. And I totally understand. Let's start here. The talk of the summer was Nico Williams to Barca. It looked like a done deal. But let's look over some of the reasons why Barca wanted him so badly in the first place. He does feel that need. He plays the left wing and the right wing position. This is one of the best one-on-one dribblers in all of Europe, let alone just La Liga in Spain. He's familiar with the league. He's a young guy. He plays primarily on the left, but he has played a little bit of the right wing. You see what he does for the Spanish national team when he's opposite flank of Lamine Yamal. But if you actually watch this guy play, he's tremendous. He's great in one-on-one scenarios, and he would just be a menace down the left wing. Let's go to another guy who is caught up in a lot of rumors with Barcelona. That would be Luis Diaz. Right off the bat, this guy is 28 years old, which isn't super old, around the time that guys usually reach their physical prime. Luis Diaz is a tremendous player as well, especially for the Colombian national team. His numbers for Liverpool leave a little bit to be desired, but at the same time, he doesn't start every single game. He's sometimes playing the 9 up top. He's sometimes playing left wing. And to be honest with you, Luis Diaz, something that a lot of people don't talk about is his contributions defensively. And I think this is probably the number one reason why Flick and Barcelona want Luis Diaz so badly. You see right here, he's in the 53rd percentile of defensive actions compared to other attacking midfielders and wingers. And just to give you a point of reference, one of the biggest strengths of Rafinha, who currently plays the left wing for Barca, is his ability to track back, his ability to press. And just statistically, he's shown to be in the 23rd percentile of defensive action. So I think for Flick, who is with that high press, with the constantly trying to get around the field and win ball back to launch a counterattack to maintain possession, I think Luis Diaz is a good fit. The issue with Luis Diaz, obviously the biggest issue, and to be honest with you, if money wasn't a problem, I would be totally fine with it. But they have his market value at 50.4 million here. I've seen them being Liverpool reject offers of around 8. And if Barcelona was having troubles paying that release clause for Nico Williams at around 60, 65 million, I don't know how they're going to make this work. And I just don't think it's necessary for Luis Diaz. If you're paying 100 million, you're looking at, I'm thinking of top tier, absolute elite talent. And I got a lot of respect for Luis Diaz, the player that he is. I don't think he's worth that, to be honest. So once again, no disrespect to Lucho Diaz. The price tag is a little high and unrealistic for this summer for Barcelona. It seems that for Barca, it seems that Deco and Laporta are dead set on making it happen. Just seeing how things have gone so far this summer, I just don't see it. Luis Diaz is a left winger who sometimes plays up top as striker, and now we're going to move on to somebody who is a striker who sometimes plays on the left wing. Marcus Rashford is another name that's been circulating in the rumors nonstop this summer. It seems to me that he's really desiring a move to Barca. His price tag's a little bit lower than Luis Diaz. He's a little bit young. I would say around the same as far as versatility, but this guy is really a 9. He does his best work up top, plays a little bit wing. I don't think Barca needs somebody who's going to come into this team and demand that they're a part of the starting 11 every single game. Marcus Rashford he will definitely see a lot of minutes on Barca, but he would offer a lot of the same profile that Ferran Torres does. Come off the bench, or if there's an injury, then you can be our starting 9 up top, or rotate. Sub on for Rafinha, start in place of Rafinha. There's going to be minutes for a guy like Marcus Rashford. And another thing about him is that a lot of people are out of favor for Rashford for the time that he spent at Man United, even though he showed a lot of promise for Man United, scored a ton of goals for Man United across different seasons. Right now, it's hard to judge any player playing for Man United. You look at Antony, who moved over to La Liga and was one of the best players last season, without a doubt. You look at Scott McTominay, who went over to Napoli and was the Serie A player of the season. I think sometimes if you're in a bad environment, if you're in a toxic situation, you just need a change of scenery. I personally really like the idea of Marcus Rashford on Barcelona. He wants to play for the team. He's shown that. He's said it time and time again. And I don't think it would cost that much, whether it be through loan or an actual sale. I like the idea of Rashford to Barca. Personally, I do. I think it's the most realistic in terms of the price. Man United wants him out, and I think that this is a very realistic and viable option for Barca right now. So I'll be honest, I really like the prospect of Rashford joining Barca. You saw what he did at Aston Villa, who were a pretty solid side last season, and I think he could really offer a lot to this team. And I don't think he has the ego per se that would get in the way of him just being a rotational player from the start of the season. Who knows how he performs? Maybe he becomes a regular player for the squad. But I think at one point it was Nico Williams, then it was Luis Diaz and Marcus Rashford. Those are probably the 3 guys that I've seen the most talk around as far as the left wing position or the forward position in general for Barca. I'm going to go into some other guys that I've seen some rumors about, but who knows if this is, the thing about Barca, like I said, you really just have no idea what direction they're going to go in. You don't even know if they're going to sign anybody at all. So here are just a couple other guys that I would love to see them pursue, and maybe, that door is still open. Number 1, This guy, I think he is an exceptional player. He's extremely versatile. He's young. Plays for RB Leipzig. Antonio Nusa. He's Norwegian. He's 20 years old. Just turned 20 in April. He's a young guy. He's produced for RB Leipzig. You know the numbers again. Not nothing jumps off the page. But I think now is the time to cash in on this sort of player. Barcelona has a lot of youth, and the thing about Barca, like I said, they're cash strapped at the moment. They can't really go out and just splurge just yet. I think we're about a year, maybe 2 years away from being back to fully normal, where they can make a signing of $100 million or just in that range. Antonio Nusa is young. He's relatively cheap compared to a lot of other people for this position. And you see, I mean, he has minutes logged at all these different positions: left wing, left mid, right mid, attacking midfielder, even some left back, left wing back. I think definitely it's safe to say that primarily he's more of a left winger, a left forward. Um, but this kid, I think if you wait another year, or even half a season, this kid's price tag is going way up. He's a great one-on-one player. He's very creative. And I think that honestly is the biggest thing for this Barcelona team is just being a team that creates as many chances as possible to score. They're looking to score. They score a lot, and you have somebody up top who's a true finisher, who can score a lot of goals. You need a player like this. And I really like the idea of Antonio Nusa coming to Barcelona. Like I said, I try not to get too invested in the rumors because you just really don't know where the the people up top at Barcelona where they're going, what direction they're leaning in. But I think Nusa would be an amazing option to add to this team, and to help him develop with the rest of these young guys. And the thing is that you're investing in the future at that point. You're not taking a gamble on a guy like Luis Diaz, who I mean, he's not old by any means. He's only 20 years old, but you know, I would rather spend half the price on a 20-year-old who's showing extreme promise than have to go and break the bank and set yourself back as a club, for maybe somebody who might not even adapt. Talked about some realistic options. Antonio Nusa's a little bit out there. I've seen his name circulated a little bit, but I don't know if that's really reliable sources. I don't know if it's fan talk from Barca. I'm going to talk about my dream signing, which is a little ironic because just a few years ago, he was a Barcelona player, came up in La Masia. I think the price tag's a little steep, but if they're willing to put all this money into a Luis Diaz, I don't see why this is far-fetched. I don't think it's impossible to dream. But my ideal signing, the player would absolutely take this Barcelona team to the next level, no questions asked. And I think he would just fit in so well. Is Xavi Simons, RB Leipzig as well with Antonio Nusa. This guy is just a baller. No questions asked. 10 goals, 7 assists last year in Bundesliga. Extremely versatile, plays all over the attack, left wing, attacking midfielder, right field. He's 22 years old. And this is a Barcelona academy player who grew up in Barcelona, played on some academy teams with a lot of the guys on the team, right? Price tag is a little steep, but this guy knows the culture. I think this is the guy for Barca. I'm actually a little bit surprised that there hasn't been more talk about this. It comes and goes, being that he's from Barcelona originally, but looks at things right now, it's looking like Bayern Munich is looking, as they always do, to bring in this guy because he's one of the best players in Bundesliga, and they just seem to just do all their scouting of other teams from Bundesliga to just take all their best players. It seems that's the most likely option right now. But yeah, the thing is, man, and I'm not even going to pretend like I know or what their plan is, because to be honest with you, even when they come out and say something, it's hard to take them at their word these days because they've led us on to believe that Camp Nou will be open again for the start of the season. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case, unfortunately. The Nico Williams stuff was all but confirmed. I know that's not really their fault, but the financial things, it's he say, she say, who do you believe? I don't want to get my hopes up. If they need one more summer to get things back in check, and then next summer or even in the winter transfer window, we go after somebody to bolster the squad, I can live with that. I don't think Barcelona needs to go crazy. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You got to remember they were about 10 minutes away from being in the Champions League final. And then at that point, it's just one game you got to win. Who knows what happens against PSG? PSG, as great as they are, you see that they're beatable. Barca was eliminated from the Champions League without some of their most important players on the squad. You're probably wondering why I have Alejandro Grimaldo up on the screen right now. And this is a guy that I would love to see Barcelona bring in. He wouldn't cost too much, probably around 25 to 30 million, if that. Another former Barcelona Academy guy, came from the La Masia system, and this fills a need. Gerard Martin, for as many chances he did create against Inter Milan, he also gave up a lot defensively. Barcelona is looking for a player with a similar profile to someone like Joao Cancelo, who I really loved seeing him play for Barcelona. The thing is that he's not the most solid defensively. The same can be said about Grimaldo, but you're not intending for this guy to start every single game. But his versatility up the left side, he's played high up the pitch. He's played left wing back. He's played left mid, left wing, left back. I think this is a great addition to the squad in terms of depth. If Balde is not there, or even for the second half, or just somebody who's creative up the left side, I think this is what you would hope Gerard Martin would turn out to be in the future if he develops properly. But Grimaldo is still only 29 years old. He will be turning 30 in a few months, mid-season. But I think this would be a good guy to add. I don't think the squad really needs to be tampered with all that much. If we're going to be totally honest, Rafinha had his best season of his life playing on the left wing. He does tend to drift a little bit up the middle and be in position to score and create. So having somebody that can really allow him to do that, yeah, that would be helpful. But another thing that Barcelona has been known to do, especially in these last few seasons when the financials have been all over the place, is rely on La Masia. And we got a lot of young guys that are coming up. Tony Fernandez, who is one that comes to mind. There's just a lot of options here without having to break the bank this season. And I predict, if I had to place a bet on it, I think Rashford gets added into the mix of this team. But realistically, I think they might just go into next season and say, we've been rested. Everybody's coming back healthy. Let's see what we can do. Let's not tamper with it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And we run it back. That's the most likely option. They did bring Joan Garcia in. They got some guys coming back from major injuries. Mark Bernal, who's, in my opinion, going to be he should be by October or November. I think he'll be a definitive starter in this starting 11 for Barcelona. There's only so many minutes to go around, and you're not benching Rafinha. You're not benching Lamine. It's going to be hard to bench Lewandowski, Pedri, De Jong, all these guys. This squad is solid. And by the time this video goes up, we might have some more clarity on what's going to happen. Who really knows at this point? So I've been following this pretty closely, and I think Barcelona definitely has some options. It's really just now a matter of financials and being able to register players. But let's see, man. I'm really excited for the season to start, and hopefully we get some news, some clarity on this in the near future, so we can stop theorizing and just focus on the guys that are going to be on the squad come next season. Who knows? Being a FC Barcelona fan, it is never a dull moment. Hopefully, we'll see, man. Appreciate you guys checking out the video. I'll be back soon.